Taiwan Semi shares falling nearly 5% today, even as the chipmaker announced a 42% increase in first quarter revenue. That was better than Wall Street estimates. The stock falling with the rest of the semi space. The SMH ETF down nearly 7% today after posting its best ever day on just yesterday. Names like On Semiconductor, Intel, and Micron, Nvidia all being hit hard. Well, tariff turmoil also hitting the data center side of the AI trader. Christina Partsinevelos joins us now with more on this. This had been suspected that there would be some hits to the data center trade. Do we have data now?
Yeah, well, let's go through it. There's a lot. There's a lot of commentary, right? So the sustainability around AI spending just remains a constant concern. Yes, Google reiterated yesterday they would spend $75 billion this year on chips and servers. And yes, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy told CNBC early this morning that he didn't see them attenuating their building of data centers. Great word, essentially confirming no reduction in their $100 billion plans. I've never used that word in a sentence. But Jassy noted AI won't be as expensive in the future due to chip costs, implying Nvidia either needs to drop prices or face alternatives, which Amazon hopes to step in. The Stargate AI project, don't forget them, from OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, plans to spend $500 billion over 4 years, starting with the construction in Texas, which should be completed by mid-next year. Microsoft reported plans to spend $80 billion in 2025, but yesterday, this is the news, walked away from the lease deals and delayed construction on sites, including a $1 billion Ohio project. So these mixed signals really are sending questions about this AI investment cycle's durability. Any pullback would impact chip suppliers like Nvidia, we talk about, networking companies like Arista, real estate developers such as Digital Realty Trust. And then, of course, the big question you started with was looming tariffs. They really could force companies to reconsider CapEx plans. And that's why you have so many people concerned about Q3 earnings and what this signals for this $1 trillion AI build-out and hitting any speed bumps.
Karen, you're a big investor in a lot of these names that are investing in these data centers. Would you rather hear them
would
now?
Would you rather?
They're sticking with the CapEx spend, or that they're going to reevaluate due to the volatility in the market, just the unknown business environment?
I think that probably wouldn't be received that well, the unknown business environment. But because remember, it seemed like so long ago, but when Meta announced their first quarter and actually talked about the spend being higher, people like that, right? That they are seeing, we're going to get a positive return on that. And so that was good. I think them reversing course here. They make about a lot of money, even while they're spending so much money on CapEx. So I don't know. Maybe it's if I told you they said it, how would it react? I'm thinking down.
Yeah.
It's to your point, nobody's really commented on tariffs thus far, except there was the cloud infrastructure unit, the general manager at Google, and he said the cost of importing hardware might climb, but customer demand continue to necessitate the increased environment. So maybe we'll hear that they'll say demand is really strong, and so we're going to eat the cost, or they'll use tariffs as an excuse to pull back.
Right. Big question there. Christina, thank you.
Thanks.
Christina Partsinevelos.
The one who gets hit on this is Nvidia. All the rest are probably working on their own chips, to Andy Jassy's point. And you're going to wind up seeing Nvidia fall, and the others could probably stabilize or rally because they're working on cheaper chips. The world doesn't need what Nvidia is selling right now as sophisticated a large language model. They could do it with a lot cheaper chips.
Are you ready for the latest buzz in the stock market world? Get ready to delve into the roller coaster ride of Nvidia, one of the leading companies in the tech industry. Buckle up as we uncover the twists and turns that have resulted in Nvidia's stock facing turbulent times. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
It does take us to our talk of the tape. Where do we go from here with all this volatility? Where are we going? Let's ask Tom Lee. He is Fundstrat's managing partner, head of research, also a CNBC contributor with me here at Post 9. Thank you for being here. So, Liberation Day didn't go as you thought, and you apologized publicly for that, which I think a lot of people appreciated. You're always a stand-up person about that. What now? Where are we going?
Well, I think a couple of things that we're thinking about is we know markets have gotten very pessimistic. They've priced in a 60% probability of a recession. And if tariff negotiations de-escalate, then the probability isn't that high. So I think that there's still a big window for markets to have a large rebound, but it's really the path of this de-escalation.
Are we in a bear market? I mean, we're in a bear market, right? I mean, it almost doesn't matter, textbook, whether you say we are or not. It's like so many stocks got just absolutely destroyed before this uncertainty happened in the market.
Yes. I mean, if we define a bear market as stocks feel like a grind or you're losing money, I'd say it really started in December because markets were churning even through the February high. But if I was to define a bear market as unleashing a type of financial tightening that leads to a recession, we're not at that criteria yet. But I think it feels like a bear market for the average person.
Are we supposed to buy into that? Or just stay cautious and on the sidelines, don't do anything, sit on our hands? I don't think people know what to do. And I'm not just talking in the CEO suites, because they obviously don't know what to do. How can you? So what is the investor supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's sort of two brains people are fighting. One is the tactical brain, which is, look, they want to know if this is a bottom, and they want to be convinced of it by seeing stocks rally on bad news. But if someone had the investor hat on, and, that's the long-term brain. I have a lot of confidence the U.S. companies are going to navigate through this treachery. Stocks are hugely oversold because you never really lose money buying the VIX at 50, or when the percentage of stocks above the 200-day drops to 15. Those are almost guarantees of positive 1-year, 3-year, 5-year returns. So it depends which brain you're wearing today, but I'd say the majority of our clients are trying to be tactical.
In the realm of the stock market, Nvidia's recent journey can be likened to a wild ride on a tech roller coaster. Picture this: a sudden drop of 30% from its peak, leaving investors holding their breath. But amidst the chaos, Nvidia remains steadfast in the face of economic uncertainties, particularly those stemming from the 2024 U.S. election aftermath. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
A headline at any moment, as I said in the open here, the market is waiting so hard for some bit of good news that if you're on the wrong side of that, you get a day like you had on Wednesday.
Yes. I mean, if I was to oversimplify the framing of this, U.S. and China have absurd levels of reciprocal tariffs at the moment. And if you believe those are in place, then the global economy is in trouble and you should be bearish. But if this is a matter of who makes the overture first or blinks, but we know it de-escalates, then I think the downside has it comes off dramatically, and I think stocks can actually do really well into the rest of the year.
So you'd be a buyer right now?
Yes, and with the apology that, of course, I didn't think Liberation Day was going to be this draconian, but yes, I would be buying stocks today. What would you buy? Well, one of the things we did for our clients last night is to look at what's called, Walter Deemer calls sold out stocks, which is worse than oversold. Sold out stocks don't go down because there's a lot of bad news priced in. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stocks that didn't make new lows on Tuesday, April 8th. They made their lows a month ago, and they had lower volume on April 8th. Those are what I'd call washed out stocks. A group that I think is washed out is the Mag 7. So I'd look at Mag 7 as a place to really expect a rebound, including stocks like Tesla. Okay. You used the word draconian. That was your word. But I'm going to play off of that and say, well, what if we're in a post-draconian period where, because of that, we're left with the rubble of that decision-making in the White House? And the damage has been done. CEOs have no visibility whatsoever. Do you see this consumer sentiment number today? Yeah, they're awful. Do you see where inflation expectations are? Yeah, they've gone bananas. Do you see what earnings expectations have done recently? I mean, there's no ability to make guidance. So what if the damage is already done now? That's right. Now, we have to keep in mind this has been 10 days. So it is a shock, a high-amplitude shock, but only of 7 days, so someone can restart the patient's heartbeat. I think that the White House is now keenly aware that Main Street can't handle a huge deleveraging because it is going to lead to job loss, and he's listening to CEOs. So I think there's a really big window to repair the bulk of this damage. And at the other side of this, of course, is that we have reciprocal tariffs in place that are acceptable, We have tax policy that's changing and less regulation. So I actually think the 2026 outlook is still quite good.
Which puts are you, so to speak, more reliant on now, a Fed one or a Trump one?
Well, I think there's a call at work and a couple of puts. I think that there is a Fed liquidity put that was in evidence today by the Fed.
When Collins said what she did?
Exactly. And we know the Fed put on rates strikes much lower. The White House has a policy put because we know that you can't brinksmanship the global economy to a halt just to try to get China to blink. And I think that the call is, I think there's a negotiator call, which means I think the White House exercised the Navarro call and replaced him with Besson.
Despite these challenges, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang stands resolute, emphasizing the company's flexible supply chain and the ever-growing demand for artificial intelligence. Huang's optimism shines through as he hints at plans to shift more production to the U.S., potentially mitigating some tariff-induced costs. With NVIDIA's stock story unfolding like a gripping drama, investors are left to ponder the company's fate amidst the turbulent seas of economic volatility. Will NVIDIA weather the storm and emerge stronger, or will the tide turn against this tech giant? But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Are we going to have a recession in the United States?
As I said on Monday at a talk that I gave at the New York Economic Club, I think we're very close, if not in a recession now. What may be...
You don't need that.
Good. What may be happening is a lot of people are buying in advance of the elevated increases, like lines around Apple stores buying iPhones and all that stuff. But I believe all the uncertainty is really making everyone pause. And everyone's wait and see. And so I think you're going to see this across the board and just say slow down until we have more certainty. Yeah. And, we now have a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariff. That means longer, more elevated uncertainty.
Speaking of pauses, let's take a quick pause. Let's get the opening bell. We'll be right back to Larry for our conversation. Here at the big board, we've got Project Hood, that's a Chicago-based nonprofit aiming to reduce violence, build economic opportunity at the NASDAQ, the online pet pharmacy, PetMeds. There's something you want to buy. Dog gets sick, man. You got trouble.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. All right, Larry, let's continue. I know we got a little bit of background noise here, but you're making the point. You obviously talked about this. Listen, we were talking about it, the uncertainty. So many CEOs we're speaking to. I've heard this now many number of times, similar to early days of COVID, like 5 years ago. Sure. I just don't know what's coming. I have nothing to expect, and so I'm keeping my head down. Is that a fair way to sort of characterize it?
I think that's a bad answer because today you need to run into the uncertainty and try to find solutions. Okay. So keeping your head down, I would not like that as an answer as a shareholder with any CEO.
Right.
I mean, to me, this is an opportunity to look for opportunities. And because of all our clients having uncertainty, we are spending more time with more conversation with more clients globally than any time. Our job now is to be, helping, calming, giving them ideas. So if a CEO said, I'm going to keep my head down.
As we draw the curtains on NVIDIA's stock saga, one thing is clear. The road ahead is paved with uncertainty and opportunity in equal measure. With forecasts hinting at both challenges and prospects, the decision to invest in NVIDIA rests in the hands of those bold enough to navigate the unpredictable waters of the stock market. But what do you think? Share your thoughts down below. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.